evolving personalities, lifestyles and quirks, personalities that don't mesh well together. Let's talk about all of this and more for Paralives. If you're not aware, Paralives does these dev chats where their patrons ask them some hard-hitting questions and learn more about the development of Paralives. If you're interested in reading these dev chats instead of listening to them, first of all, ouch, you can find them linked in the video description. Before we get to the good, let's talk about the best way to expand your video game library. If you want discounted games or DLC, I highly recommend checking out Instant Gaming. You'll find PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo games for real cheap. You can find the link for it in the video description. And disclaimer, if you do purchase a game using my link, I do get a very small commission from it, so thank you for supporting the channel. And, you know, that's awesome, you're gonna get a really good game for cheap. Let's get to the good. Starting with some community voted questions. Being able to place items like fairy lights on trees isn't something that's planned for right now. This is because all of the trees come in different shapes and sizes, so it would take a long time to add them because those items would have to be tailored to every single tree, which would, that would be a lot of work. However, it would be nice to have a couple of trees with those options, which absolutely I think it would be great to have. Bistro lights, swings, tree houses, and things like that would just be so awesome and would add to your backyard. I love the idea that mold would spawn after a puddle dries up. The fact that this is feasible with existing features is pretty cool, but Anna says that she's not 100% sure if they're going to go for it, and that makes me a little disappointed, but it is what it is. Amazing Star wanted to know if there would be consequences for not fulfilling pair folks' wishes, or maybe going against them. For now, wants are bonuses only. There's no negative consequence happening for not fulfilling them. Anna says that this is the sort of main difference between wants and needs since there's a dynamic needs system. There could, for example, have specific needs for paras with specific personality traits. For example, a social butterfly para might have a need to talk to people every few days, but that might be a want for other paras. So for the social butterfly para, this might have consequences if it's not fulfilled, and that's a very interesting way to go about it, I think. Moving on to general questions. I like the fact that Alex states that in the future there's a plan to add seasons, so the look of some trees and plants will change over the seasons. On top of that, the devs are going to integrate gardening later on, so players will be able to harvest veggies and fruit and so on and so forth. Amazing Star brings up a good question. What is the line between what the devs think is best and what they want in the game and what future players want? For example, the question about illnesses is once again being brought up, and the answer for this is typically that developers want light gameplay, no complicated systems, and that they don't want heavier gameplay like that. So possibly colds and flus might be introduced. Essentially, if there's a demand for a feature, will the developers include it? Alex responds that they currently have a set of high priority core features planned for initial early access release of the game. Then extra features will be considered after launch. There are some things like guns and violence that go against their vision and will never make it to the game. Something like illnesses will be considered, and it would work if it's not just a random thing that happens to your parafolk where they deal with it with tedious gameplay like taking pills or being condemned to death. All in all, Alex's point is that they want the gameplay to be fun and not tedious. I think most players would agree with that. Tedious gameplay is never fun. How will activities work for kids and teens? Will they be able to continue an activity as they age? Skills are still being worked on for children. Some skills are quite easy to adapt to kids, like playing an instrument, but other skills are tricky, like cooking. It would be nice if there could be adapted skills for kids with that linked knowledge to stay at the same level or improve as they grow up. This is all still a work in progress. If you're a patron at a certain level, you get to have a para modeled after you, and or you get to name an item in the game. If you're interested in learning more about Patreon perks, you can find their Patreon link in my video description. I highly recommend checking it out. Anywho, will it be possible to defer the legend tier parafolk reward to a later point in case you want them to model a pet instead of a para? And yes, it will be possible to do that, since pets will be added to the game later on, so if that's what you would want to do, you can do it. Yay. If you are a patron with a townie reward, you will have to submit pictures so they can model your townie and get the appearance and clothing right. Regarding personality, they're still deciding and confirming how that will work, and if patrons will be able to select personality traits for themselves or not. For the patron named item, there will be some rules to follow, pretty much nothing rude or inappropriate, but goofy things will be accepted. Our final category is live mode. Jobs will be rabbit holes. It's going to be a non-active job. You might be able to see pairs at their places of work, for example, if they work at the coffee shop, but there won't be any active elements to it. Remember, this is a work in progress. Sarah the Sloth wanted to know what sort of challenges will be included in the game. Alex responded that many gameplay elements will be challenging, like evolving your personality traits and jobs, as well as raising children. Something like scenarios isn't planned for right now. Fire seems to be the only planned disaster at the moment. Regular weather needs to be worked on first before something like a snowstorm or flooding can even be talked about. Those are way more complicated than something like a fire. As much as I personally hate the idea of an insect infestation in real life, that actually might be a cool little disaster in the game. Also, I don't know about crushing cockroaches causing the situation to be worse, but I do know that crushing or spraying ants can cause an ant infestation to be worse. Trust me, it's not good. Of course, I agree with L the Muse 83K. I think that if there are disasters, players should be able to turn it off. But yeah, like Anna said, gameplay around such disasters shouldn't have to have too many consequences, and they shouldn't be too bad. Therefore, there probably won't be a toggle for them. As of right now, pairs cannot leave work early manually. You can earn extras that can modify their schedule a little bit, which might affect their pay. Who knows though, this might change in the future. It is nice to see that there will be elements from different real-life cultures in the game, and they do plan to add more of those items. I do hope that they create cultural elements unique to Parafolk. I think that this is an adorable idea and would love to explore that further. And heck to the yes for having menus for players to create and edit traditions and habits. Currently, we have 3 confirmed deaths by fire, starvation, and exhaustion. I wonder why old age isn't a confirmed death type yet. Maybe it will be soon. OGs will remember Sebastian's secret bookcase door. This hasn't been worked on since and will need to be worked on to make them functional and bug-proof. I hope to see a bookcase door or another sort of secret door in the game because they are so cool. Wicked Brony wanted to know if evolving personalities will simply be time-based or will fulfilling wants tie into it. It's a work in progress, but Anna doesn't believe it'll be time-based. The concept of evolving personalities is that you discover more traits for your character the more you play with them. Does the team plan to tackle neurodivergency through the personality system? There won't be any personality traits that are straight up linked to neurodiversity, but the goal is that people will be able to create themselves. It is nice to remember that one of their main game design pillars is to be able to represent the most people possible. But with that, they also have to balance the number of traits available to choose from so it's not overwhelming. Their system allows quirks, aka lifestyles, for the personalities, and this is where things like this might be added. Here's a real quick question and answer. Right now, there's 2 lifestyles that aren't diet-based: sleeping habits and cleaning habits. Is there some sort of plan to introduce animation variations for certain interactions based on personality? I love to see a reassounding yes from Alice, but the basics need to be finished and good to go before any of that can be thought of. It's a lot of work. Will some personalities not mesh well together, like a sunny personality and a gloomy one? This is the plan. You'll see this with specific together cards and interactions between pairs with specific personality traits. Like always, I love hearing new little tidbits about Paralives. It's exciting to see how the game has grown, changed, and developed, especially since Life by You has been cancelled. What was your favorite thing about this dev chat? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well and staying hydrated. Let's talk about Paralives again real soon, okay? Until then, bye.